Well, if we need a cure for wellness, we don't want to die. We want to have fun. We want to be lucky about it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of Good Luck, Have Fun, and Don't Die, the latest film in the first film in 12 years, directed by Gore Verbinski. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Gore Verbinski is back. Ever since he did A Cure for Wellness, he has not come back to direct anything. I don't know why, but here he is, finally doing a movie about time travel and about the corruption of AI, and a movie that is very interesting. We'll talk about that. It's a movie that stars Sam Rockwell as a time traveler who comes back and basically interrupts a dining night at Norm's Diner, which is going to be closed down to be put in for a Raising Cane's. Yeah. But he needs people to help him stop an AI invasion that will basically destroy the world. Sound familiar? So he basically tries to tell these people. He does a Groundhog Day scenario where he's done this before, and he basically recruits a bunch of people played by not only Juno Temple, but of course Haley Lou Richardson, Michael Peña, Zazie Beetz, and they basically have to survive the night and go after this kid who is going to unleash a Skynet level AI apocalypse upon the world. And so this is Gore Verbinski, basically, as he's talked about in interviews, going against AI technology and how it's encroaching upon the societal awareness of our world. So there you go. So this is one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I was really anticipating this just from the trailer alone. I think Gore Verbinski needs a win because he hasn't had a win for quite a while. A Cure for Wellness was a really bad movie. At least he was attempting something instead of doing another Pirates of the Caribbean. But he really hasn't done a lot of great stuff since like Rango, to be fairly honest. So I wanted Gore Verbinski to have a win at this point. And here he has a $60 million budgeted movie. He's bringing Sam Rockwell and a bunch of cast into the movie. I was actually able to see this movie last month, even though I'm recording this review last month and it'll release on like February 9th or whatever. But I was really happy that they allowed me to see this movie early because I was looking forward to it. And so with this weirdness of this trailer, which I really enjoy, it's one of my favorite trailers of the last year, and what they were attempting to do, what I learned about this movie as I was watching it, what is my honest opinion of this movie? I think this is one of my favorite movies of the year so far. We'll see where it lands at the end of the year. It's only January when I'm recording this. February, we already have a contender outside of 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, for like one of my favorite movies of the year, which is pretty crazy. This movie's not gonna be for everyone. It's very offbeat. It's very weird. It involves Sam Rockwell and like the craziest get up you'll ever see. Involves a lot of weird people and a lot of weird ideas. You know, there's a whole point in this movie about AI, like I said, which is the kind of the crux of the movie. There's moments where people are, you know, like zombified by their phones. I mean, go figure. We're all like that at this point. It's dealing with like how we have technology and how technology affects us in a lot of respects. And I think it's a really well done, really interesting movie with a lot of great moments. It's very funny. I think Sam Rockwell is at his best here, to be fairly honest. I think everybody is having fun. I think the standout is Haley Lou Richardson in this movie. I think she's great. I think Zazie Beetz and Michael Peña, who play a couple in this movie, are interesting and fun. Michael Peña is playing a weird, offbeat character. Juno Temple is kind of the, outside of Haley Lou Richardson, kind of like the main character that is kind of pushing along kind of the story of what's happening in this movie. But there are a lot of great moments. They show you flashbacks, which is really cool. I won't get into like too many details, but the stuff with like what happens to Juno Temple's character and the ideas of like how messed up societal ideologies are and how we're kind of becoming so used to disturbing stuff, how we are coming, like, I don't know the exact word for it, but like the idea of like something really bad and tragic happening, but because it happens so much, we're so used to it. You kind of know where I'm leading with this. I think what Gore Verbinski and his writing staff and like the crew are doing is really unique and really interesting, because this movie really is in your face with what it's trying to say, and I really appreciate that. But I think this movie has a sense of fun. I think this movie has a sense of purpose. I think this movie is very irreverent at times. It's very coarse. It's very graphic. There's a moment where these two guys in pig masks are chasing them who are killing people, and they're trying to kill them. And And I love the idea that Sam Rockwell, you're never sure if he's telling the truth about the future or not. And when, like, you know, he's talking about how he's done this like a billion times before, and it's just a really unique movie. It's like one of Gore Verbinski's really like most unique movies I've ever watched. Probably one of his best movies, to be fairly honest. And I just really love this from from the beginning to the end. I think the end with some of the stuff, and it's in the trailer, which I won't spoil, but it's in the trailer. Some of the stuff you'll be like, that's a little weird. It does get a little weird, and it does have an ending that, you know, may go on a little too long. But I think the stuff in the beginning when Sam Rockwell shows up at Norm's Cafe, to the point where it just kind of it reveals its cards, to the use of like the AI technology and how, you know, it plays out, how, you know, Gore Verbinski and his writing crew really feel about that subject, which we kind of all do. You know, my computer just updated and it has Copilot, and it just feels like it's encroaching upon what I want. AI can be used for good, to be fairly honest, but this movie really it shows you that technology is really kind of encroaching upon our lives in a really negative fashion, and I think it does it it's a really fascinating take to do that with. But this movie just is unique. The costuming is really fun. I like Haley Richardson wears a princess costume through most of the movie, and like I said, Sam Rockwell's stuff is really fun to watch because it's like he looks like a homeless guy, which is really great. But I think overall this is just a really unique movie, and I think it's a really fun movie. And once again I have to preface this with saying that it's not going to be for everyone. There's going to be people who I know will not like this movie because how weird it gets and how offbeat it gets, and it gets into some you know, everything everywhere all at once territory, where it goes down paths which might be a little strange for people, to be fairly honest. But I think this is one of my favorite movies of the year, to be fairly honest. I think it's gonna be one of those that hopefully, you know, depending on how this year rolls out, will be in my top 10. But you know, it's already January and I already have two movies that are contenders for top 10. Like I said, you know, 28 years later, The Bone Temple, which I didn't do a review for, but if you read my letterbox you'll see it there. But with that said, yeah, good luck, have fun, don't die, I think is actually Gore Verbinski's best movie since like The Ring, to be fairly honest. I think it may actually be his best movie, and that's a good testament for a guy who hasn't been around for like 12 years or whatever. It's some crazy amount of time it's been since this movie, you know, since his last movie Cure Wellness came out. So I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's great. I think it has great set pieces. I think it's very humorous. I think the technology kind of in your face is really well put together and will make you think. It really will. It's a really well put together movie, and I really liked it. So good luck, have fun, don't die. Great title. Strange movie. I love it. So there you go. Highly recommended. Anyways, that'll do it. That means I take on good luck, have fun, don't die. I do appreciate it. In the comments below, what's your favorite Gore Verbinski movie? Are you looking forward to this movie? Have you seen this movie? If you have, let me know what you think overall. But with that said, that'll do it. If you like what you see on the channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like the video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, guys.